What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a different type of video that I'm so pumped about. You guys started asking me to do single recipe videos, so I'm gonna start featuring some of my favorite dishes of all time. So today I'm gonna show you how to make a classic. This is loaded carne asada fries, but of course, vegan. So where I come from, I've always grown up in San Diego, so we have a heavy Mexican influence, and in any taco shop in San Diego, you're going to see carne asada fries. It is insanely popular. It's one of my all-time favorite dishes. This is going to be high protein, but also diet friendly, believe it or not. So without further ado, I think let's just roll right into it.
Well, how, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the recipe. All right, never doing that accent ever again in my life, but welcome. This is a super simple recipe that's gonna be amazing. So, as you see, I have 3 potatoes on screen, but we're actually only going to use 2. So these are medium to large size. The longer and larger they are, the better fry shapes they're gonna make, because you want your fries to be nice and long. Now, there's 2 ways that we can do this. We can cut them with a knife, just hand cut them. It does take a little bit more time. You can see the technique that I'm using right here. It's gonna take a little bit more time, but you're gonna get the same results. The other alternative, which I am so pumped about, is this industrial sized fry press. So the one I have is from Rob's son. My dad actually bought this for my birthday. And you basically just put the potato in there. It's like a big drill, and then it just spits out perfect shoestring fries every single time. I use this weekly. It's expensive, but it's worth it. Okay, so we're gonna take our 2 potatoes that are now shoestring fries, put it in a bowl, and we're gonna season them. So we're gonna use a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, and a tablespoon of olive oil. Now, you don't need to use that much olive oil, and you don't even need to use any olive oil at all, but it is gonna give them a little bit more of a crispy texture, so decide whether or not it fits into your diet plans. Now, there are actually 2 ways to cook this. If you have an air fryer, use it, but if you don't, you can put them on a cookie sheet, put it in the oven at 400 degrees for around 30 to 35 minutes. It's really important that you make sure you spread the fries out, because if they're touching each other, there's a lot of them, the water is going to boil and steam the fries instead of letting them get nice and crispy. So use a lot of trays. All right, now while those bad boys are cooking, let's make our guacamole. So we have an avocado, we have a lime, and we have a couple pieces of cilantro, maybe like, 7 or 8 stems. All right, this guacamole is super simple to make. You're just going to do a vertical cut around the whole avocado, de-seed that bad boy, but make sure you don't chop your fingers off. I know everyone cringes whenever that motion happens, but just be careful. Use a spoon to take your avocado out, put it on the side in a bowl, and then you're gonna take your cilantro and you're just gonna cut it as finely as you can. If you're really patient, then cut it super fine, but just enough that you aren't chewing on whole leaves here. Okay, then we are going to take the lime, cut it in half, and we're just gonna use half of a lime for this guacamole. So you're just going to juice that into the bowl. Then you're gonna take a fork, and this is a really easy way to mash up your avocado and also leave it having a little bit of a texture, because if you like whip it or blend it, it'll be very smooth, but I kind of like it to have this bit of a chunky texture. Okay, last up, seasoning. Of course, it's gonna make it taste way better. So a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and then I would say a 1/4 or a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Taste it and then add more salt if you need it, but that's basically how we're going to season it. You can do it a bunch of different ways. It is very versatile, but it makes such a good guacamole. It is so fresh, you're gonna love it. All right, now it's time to check on our fries. Just got them out of the air fryer, and it looks like they have a perfect texture. I really like them to be a little golden brown, have that crisp. The edges are just slightly burnt, but if you don't like that, you can do it a little less if you do want your fries to be a little bit more traditional and not quite as crunchy. Okay, so after we have plated our fries on the plate, now we are just going to top it and make it deluxe and load it up. So we are gonna start with the refried beans. My favorite brand is Rosarita. They have a vegetarian refried beans. And the thing to know is that most traditional Mexican refried beans do have lard in there, but the vegetarian ones are completely vegan. So we are using a 3/4 cup of refried beans, microwaving it, make sure it's nice and hot, and applying it all over those fries. All right, next up, this beautiful avocado. We always want to do the bland ingredients on the bottom so that way we can see the bright ones. So the avocado goes on there next as a big old dollop. Okay, now next up, carne asada. I'm actually using al pastor from a brand called Plant Ranch that makes amazing vegan meats. They have a carne asada one too, but I just had al pastor today. Now, you can either use a pre-made brand like I'm using right here, or if you want to make your own homemade seitan and do this completely from scratch, I actually have a recipe video on my channel about how to make the best best seitan on the block. So I'll put a link for that in the description below, and you can make your own seitan and use that as carne asada. But like I said, I'm using Plant Ranch. So after I've cooked that in the frying pan, I'm just going to apply that all over these French fries. Seriously, my mouth is watering right now, but we're gonna do a few more things just to add some color and some pop and some flavor. So we're gonna take about 3/4 of a tomato, cut it up, dice it until it's really fine and nice little squares. And then we're gonna take a couple more sprigs of that cilantro and also cut that up. It's gonna add a little bit of flavor, but really it's gonna add some color on there. So now we are just going to apply those tomatoes kind of all around on top. You can use tomatoes if you don't like them, you don't have to use them. And then finally, we're going to sprinkle all that cilantro all over the place, and that's what really like ties the whole plate together, gives you that really beautiful look. Okay, now just like that, your loaded carne asada fries are done. Now, of course, you have the option to add hot sauce, lime juice, salsa, cheese, or sour cream to make it even more deluxe. But I'm telling you right here, this is the traditional flavors, and it is so good. This dish is so good and does look like it has a lot of calories, but you could make a half batch if you wanted to. But it's 985 calories, 115 grams carbs, 46 grams of protein, and 29 grams of fat, which can be brought down if you lower the amount of olive oil or avocado that you use. You gotta try this. I hope you guys enjoy it. Now let's go to a taste test and see how it is.
Okay, the best part of making any recipe like this is getting to try it out. This is actually a super simple recipe. Once you guys make it a few times, I think you're gonna be like, this is going on the keepers list. But I wanna do a little taste test for you guys. I already know it's gonna be phenomenal. So you gotta get a little bit of everything in there. Bon appetit. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not just tooting my own horn. I've had this dish 1,000 million times. When I was 15, I would have this every single day for lunch at high school for eternity. It is so good. Something about the saltiness of the refried beans mixed with that little bit of crunchiness and the starchiness from the potato, but then you have that guacamole to like add some cream and kind of like, I don't know, emulsify it, make it thick. And then you have the lime, the cilantro, and the tomatoes. There's just something about this dish that is so good. And if you haven't tried it yet, just give it one try because it is so good. I'm gonna have Sammy come on screen here real quick and try it as well.
Okay, I'm so excited.
Get a good bite, get a nice loaded up one with everything on it.
The guac. Okay, ready? That's so good. Brings back memories, doesn't it?
It's such classic in San Diego.
It's such a classic here in San Diego. It's so good. Oh my gosh, babe, we killed it.
Yeah, it's really good.
You guys have to try this. It's so good.
Killed it.
Killed it.
All right, so a few things to note. With this recipe, you can totally go any direction you want to. This is kind of the base of it, but if you need to have less fat, if you want to make this even, I guess, healthier or more diet friendly, you can make the French fries with no oil at all, especially if you're air frying it, and it'll still get just as crispy. Also, you can use less guacamole if you want, and that'll also reduce the fat. And really, what you're getting with this is a ton of pretty good carbs. It's a relatively salty dish, but you're getting plenty of protein from the seitan. So for me, this is one of those things that if I'm in the middle of dieting, this is like, it's like an oasis, right? Because it tastes like it shouldn't be how macro friendly it is for how delicious it is. It's so friggin' good.
Would you care for a fry? There you go. You figured it out. You have the seal of chicken approval. The ladies like it.
We always give the chickens, the ladies, at least a couple of bites, whatever having, so they can enjoy the dining experience as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this first edition of a single recipe on my channel. I used to do these a long time ago. Like I said, you guys really wanted to see this, and I think it's really cool because in Full Day Eatings, I always show 3 or 4 brand new recipes that are always unique, but how are you gonna find them in the future if you're like, I forget how to make that fettuccine or whatever it is. So now, by putting these up, you guys will be able to save them, bookmark them, share them and stuff. And yeah, I hope you guys like this. If you do, let me know so I can make more of these, and let me know if this is the style that you like, what you would like me to add or do anything different if there is anything different. And yeah, I'm really pumped that we're doing this because we get to show off some really fire food. If you guys haven't already, absolutely check out my recipe book, especially if you like this recipe. There's 39 recipes that are just like it, that are amazing, really macro friendly. I have the macros in there, so you already have all of it figured out. Really, really tasty, unique, and also you don't need to be an experienced chef to make any of them. So check that out. It's eatvegan.com. I'll put the link in the description below. And without further ado, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a big old thumbs up. Let me know what you thought about this in the comments below. Have you ever had carne asada fries before? Have you tried this recipe out? I wanna know what you think in the comments below. And of course, subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I'll see you guys next week for diet episode number 2 to show you where I'm at 3 weeks into this mini diet. Hope you guys are excited as I am, and I will see you guys in the very next video. See you later.